Welcome, everyone, to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. Tonight, we're adding another handheld console to the market. Verizon, Razer, and Qualcomm are working on the Razer Edge 5G, a new Android-based device for handheld mobile gaming. And that's going to have 5G support. So that's their claim to fame right now, is the 5G support, right? So basically, at the Mobile World Congress in Las Vegas, Verizon basically announced this partnership that they got with Razer and Qualcomm. And they're going to bring to market the world's first Android-powered 5G gaming handheld. So the handheld market is getting a little crowded these days, because now you got the Steam Deck, you got the Switch, and now you're adding this one. So according to some of the stuff in the article, the device is going to be able to play downloaded games, game stream from your PC, or games in the cloud. More cloud gaming. It's just what we need, right? Qualcomm had mentioned something about something like this earlier. I think Razer did too, but nobody ever got any details. But, it's another handheld device. I don't own a Steam Deck. I don't necessarily know if I have the desire to own one either. I mean, I've mentioned this before. I own a Switch, but I never play with it undocked. The thing's always in the dock. It never comes undocked. If I'm playing it, it just feels dirty to play with that thing in my hand. I'd rather have my big screen. The Steam Deck was wildly popular. The Switch is extremely popular device. So maybe Razer is going to go in that same route as well, thinking that it's going to be these three companies, I should say, going together, thinking it's going to be a very popular device. We got a lot of competition because the Steam Deck has one thing you guys don't have. You can claim 5G. They have the Steam library behind it, and Steam verifies games that work on their Steam Deck. So what are you going to do for this? How are you going to make sure that your device is capable to run all the PC games that are out there that come out new without being on like potato style graphics or whatever, it's to be determined. Let's see if Razer can come out with something that actually works for a while, right? If they'll actually support it when it releases. They'll make Verizon and Qualcomm look bad with their notoriously horrible customer service and quality control. So, Nick, what do you think about adding another handheld to the market?
Step aside, Ouya. We got a new Android device in town. They don't show much of the device, just kind of some of the corner. They have like a little teaser that shows a little bit of like the buttons on the side and everything. It's your standard controller setup as far as triggers, like the back triggers. It looks like D-pad, probably a stick. Probably two sticks, more likely on each side. And I would assume, since it's with Verizon and stuff, this is just a phone that's really powerful for gaming in the sense, right? Most phones are, right? Most phones can play Android games fairly well today. They say it's got a GPU capable of running Android games at 144 frames per second with support of 10-bit HDR. We are talking about Android games here, right? Like, I'm just making sure I'm reading that correctly, because I don't know. I hate mobile gaming with a passion. I'm a huge gamer, love gaming, but mobile gaming can just go away tomorrow and I'll be perfectly fine with it. I don't think I have a single game installed on my phone. I do not play games on my phone. I hate playing games on my phone. And I hate phone games. So, this isn't something that's interesting to me. Now, if it could do more than just play that, right? What you said, you can play cloud gaming, right? So you can stream games, I guess.
It also mentioned stream games from your console and computers. So it has to support those based games, right? It can't just be mobile games. It'll have to be a Windows based platform. It can still be Android based, but have like Steam Deck or whatever, Windows CE embedded into it or something.
Sure. Now, if it plays more than just Android games, you can stream games, sure, right? You can stream games from your PC to it or consoles to it. That's fine. And if it has like a marketplace where you could download and play newer games on there, right? If it's powerful enough to be a good handheld for that type of functionality, which it almost seems like they're trying to go in that direction with it, right? That seems like a lot of power for playing Android based games, right? There are some Android games that are a little bit on the techie graphical side, sure, but they're all made to play on a phone. And so it's like, are they going to come out with full-fledged games for this, or are they going to keep it all mobile type games, right? Besides the stuff that you can stream. And is there a market for this? Like you said, can they compete with the Steam Deck and with the Switch, right? A lot of companies have tried, right? Even Sony, with the PSP and the Vita, right? Which I think the PSP and the Vita were great consoles or great handhelds. I think they were really good, but they weren't able to compete with Nintendo, right? They weren't able to compete with Nintendo's handheld offerings. They tried, and I think they had a really good thing, right? I mean, if you look at the Vita, that is a gorgeous screen on there and everything like that, but it's just, and it had the power. It just couldn't compete with what Nintendo had with the 3DS. So, can Razer compete with Steam Deck and Nintendo? We weren't sure about the Steam Deck and how well it was going to do, but it seems like Steam Decks have done pretty well for Valve. So, seems like they're going strong, and a lot of people are a lot of people are adopting them, and it seems like the adoption rate's pretty high for the Steam Deck, and continues to be high as well as the Nintendo Switch. So there clearly was a market for it, but is there a market for another device similar, right? And we'll have to see. I don't think so. I don't think that they're going to really take off like the other devices are. We've seen devices like this in the past, but you can buy. We talked about it before. The Backbone. Right, that's a thing that's a controller that you can hook to your phone. So I mean, that's essentially the idea here, right? But it's all integrated into one piece. It's not the idea here. It's not just a controller connected to a phone. All right, if you say so. I mean, it's a high-end phone, but I mean, will it make phone calls? Being part of Verizon, I would imagine it will. And text and
one of the things you have to understand is the processor that's going into this thing is a 5 nanometer ARM chipset, which is what they put in laptops.
Yeah. I mean, but with Verizon a part of it, I don't know.
It's their claim for 5G, right? I mean, that's what I think.
Yeah, I guess to put the 5G functionality in it, or be off of Verizon's 5G network, right?
That's how they're going to beat out. That's how they're going to beat out the freaking Steam Deck. We got 5G. They don't got any 5G.
Yeah, and then the people will go, "Is there Wi-Fi around?" I have 5G on my phone, but I'd rather connect to Wi-Fi because it's much faster. But we'll see. I don't think it'll take off like they're hoping it will. I don't know. These types of projects are hard to get off the ground. And, we were worried about the Steam Deck. I mean, it could, but I just don't see it. I don't know if there's going to be a market for it. What do you think, Shane?
See, you guys keep bringing up the Steam Deck. They are not competing with the Steam Deck. They're competing with the Sony Xperia. They're competing with Ouya. They're competing with the Nokia Flip. I mean,
don't forget the Logitech G Cloud.
Yes. I don't see why they're even doing this. I really don't. Mobile gaming is huge. I mean, I do understand why they're doing it. But if this is purely a Android phone, Android gaming machine, from what you guys are describing, I'm not a tech guy. I just know when I like something, I like it. It's a lot of power in there for just Android games, but it's still mobile gaming. It's still, it sounds like it's handheld gaming. Let's call it that. Let's call it handheld gaming. It's not my cup of tea. Cell phones do just fine with mobile games, with handheld games of that nature. Now, could you dock this thing to your TV? Could you connect it to your television, play off of it? That would be a huge bonus. but I still have no appeal in it. I'm with Pat. I don't see a use for the Steam Deck for me. That's for me. Nick has probably 10 times the games me and Pat do combined. And he probably doesn't have near the need for it because if I remember right, you can't dock the Steam Deck. They're not doing that.
It has an HDMI out.
Oh, does it?
HDMI
Okay.
out, yeah.
I thought there was a actual dock that you could buy to set it in too. But
there may be something like that, but I remember it could be plugged into a display.
Okay. So, that'd be the only reason I would want something like this. Like I said, for me, handheld gaming is interesting at the very beginning, and that was it for me. I play a mobile game when I poop. That's it. That's about as handheld game as I get. Plain and simple. It's not to be gross. It's just 90% of gamers, people who play cell phone games, it's when they're dropping a deuce. That's just a fact. It's not being mean. But with Verizon being involved, it'll probably be phone capable. You can do video calling and stuff like that. But I'd like to see how big this thing really is. Because Pat, you said this is the same kind of a chip that goes into a laptop.
Yeah, the Qualcomm Snapdragons are laptop size 5 nanometer chips.
Okay, so I would imagine this thing is probably a fairly decent size. I wouldn't think it would be just a regular, Galaxy size phone. I would imagine it would be bigger than that. So I have no interest in a handheld gaming system. Granted, it might come out and just be, holy crap, runs great, plays great, got great games. I can play my Game Pass games on there or something like that, because at the end of the little trailer, there was a Xbox logo that popped up. It's probably just for their streaming service, but still, it has hopes. So I would personally rather them just not. I don't want any other options. I want the big three just to do better. And if there is going to be another gaming device come out, make it a console, make it competitive with what's out there to force the gaming market, to compete better and to try more and to give better stuff to the gamers. That's what I want, but that's just me. Pat, what about you? Mr. Diehard Nintendo sitting on the toilet guy.
Yeah, I guess I should have led with the tech specs before I pass it off to you guys. But so just everybody knows, it's going to have the Qualcomm Snapdragon G3X Gen 1, though. This Gen 1. They're out to Gen 3 right now. So, they're ARM processors, if you will. It's supposed to be able to play games at 144 frames per second, with support of 10-bit HDR built in. And it's supposed to have a built-in 120 hertz, 6.65 inch OLED display with 4-way speakers and built-in controls. So it's they showed off a little teaser of the the edge of this thing, which to me looks, 6.5 inch display is not that big of a display, but it looks like it's big enough to hold in your hand. Is this going to have mobile capabilities in it too? Like we were talking earlier, phones and stuff like that. If that's it, might as well hang this thing up for gaming, in my opinion. But it's going to go the way of the old sidekicks for typing and all that kind of crap, where it's a gimmick that doesn't last very long. And if you're as old as we are, every time I hear the Razer, I think of the Motorola Razer flip phone. I'm like, well, okay. It's just weird that they're going to have like some console streaming in it, some cloud streaming, and then native games. So are the native games, like Nick was saying, just Android-based games? Because they do mention Android-based games a lot in here. And I'm like, so where does this fall in line, right? Between the Logitech, like G Cloud, and then the Steam Deck. Where does it fall in line with that stuff? Is it like in between? Or is it really just a mobile phone that can play games? Because if it's just a mobile phone that has built-in controls, then it's going to be a gimmick like the Sidekick and all that kind of crap, which is out the door for me anyway. Mobile gaming is typically out the door for me because I have a big PC. I'd rather play on my PC. I see stuff like this in the entry level market for people who don't want to spend $800-900 for an entry level gaming PC. Because in my opinion, that's entry level gaming PC. You're looking at an $800-900 piece of hardware. You can get the $600 and $500 fly by night special, but you're playing everything on just barely above potato graphics at that point, and you're not playing new release games on ultra high graphics. So, I own my own PC. I build me a new PC every few years, and just like the rest of these guys, we have gaming PCs. So, to me, this is a niche market. But the Steam Deck did very well, and if this is going to be trying to compete with the Steam Deck has supply issues. Will these guys have supply issues? Because I think still there's a waiting list for Steam Deck, right? It's not just they're just selling it. There's a wait list. So if these guys can come in and interrupt the market a little bit, it might be good for these guys if they're in the same gaming market. Now, if it's just Android-based games and console streaming, hang it up. Nobody wants that damn thing, in my opinion. We all know that mobile gaming is just exploding out there, but people play mobile gaming on their mobile device. They're not going to get a second device just for gaming on mobile. Now, if this is going to replace that, you'd look awfully weird holding up a phone to the side of your head with Joy-Cons on either end of it, right? Just be like playing a game and you're holding it up to your face and you're rubbing the joystick all over your face. You're like, oh, crap, I died because I had to answer my phone, But that's just my opinion. It's not for me. Even if it does play PC Windows-based games, it's still not for me because I just have a whole gaming PC. I have no need for a Steam Deck. It would be nice to have one, but when would I play it? If I'm away from home, I'm typically not in a situation or a scenario where I'm playing games, right? I'm out with my family or friends and we're doing something, and it would be extremely rude of me to plop in the corner of Shane's house while we're hanging out and play on my Steam Deck. I probably wouldn't be invited back over to the barbecue next time. You'd be like, I don't need your antisocial ass over here, So, no, that's just me. What about you guys?
You'll come over and sit on your cell phone with the rest of us.
Yeah.
Well, if we all get to play the Steam Deck, then...
Right. Yeah, I guess so. The girlfriends will drag us over for bingo while we're all playing our Steam Decks. But that's typically not what happens, right? When the girls want to do a bingo night or something, we're bringing a board game out, We'll go analog on this crap.
Oh, yeah. We get together and we play stuff, on the TV or board games, primarily board games. I don't, just like Pat, I don't have a need for it. I've got a decent computer. I've got consoles. I've got my classic consoles. I can sit on the toilet and play on my phone. I'm covered. Not when I'm on the toilet.
Smothered and covered.
Yeah, he's got the blanket on him when he's on the toilet playing on his console, and he gets up and falls face first into the bathtub because his legs are asleep.
One time that happened, okay? Paramedic thought it was funny.
Shane thought he was Shane thought he was paraplegic from the chest down. I can't feel my legs, so just fell into the bathtub.
Yep.
So, but yeah,
came in
laughing,
ass up, face down.
They took a picture and posted on social media for him. Look this is how our night ended.
Yeah, I'm one of those warning hazards. Don't sit on your toilet for too long, or this can happen to you.
Right. But yeah, like I said, it's yet to be determined, right? We don't have a whole lot of details. That was the details that are coming out. Like I said, they're on Gen 1 ARM, so it's not like they're running the latest ARM processors or anything like that. But they are calling it mobile gaming handheld, which typically like the Switch and the Steam Deck, they're not calling it a mobile handheld. They're not calling it mobile. They're just calling it handheld gaming. So this kind of really does sound like a mobile phone that can play games and has built-in joysticks, which to me is it's dumb because this fits in my pocket when I'm traveling. You ain't throwing a phone with joysticks and a D-pad and buttons in your pocket. That's the quickest way to break it. So you've lost convenience if it's your phone, and you're going to look mildly like an idiot holding up a Joy-Cons to the side of your face, I don't know.
It comes with a fanny pack.
But I will admit, how many times do you guys actually talk to somebody on this thing?
More than I play
my
video games.
wife. My wife's the only person I talk to on the phone.
Right. So there's your kicker, right? I don't talk on this thing hardly at all. I'm like, why aren't they texting if the phone's ringing? You know, if it's somebody I know, I'm expecting a message. Like, we all communicate, but ain't any of you guys ever called me on the phone, because it's just quick to send a text message or a message. And if one of you are calling me on the phone, I would think the other one has died or something. You know, I don't know what I would think. If I saw Nick on my phone calling me, I'd be like, what happened? Is the world ending? You know, or Shane calling me on the phone, I'm like, what happened to Nick? You know, do we got to go over and clear his browser history? You know, or is we going to go find Nick with a controller someplace that doesn't belong? We've got to take him to the hospital. What's going on? You know, so I have no clue.
The Razer Edge wouldn't fit in my pocket.
He had to find another pocket for it.
He fanny packed it.
So, yeah, I don't know about you guys, but, you know, like I said, the Steam Deck, we were skeptical. Great. Came out. It blew expectations out of the water, in my opinion. But they have one thing these guys do not have. I don't care. You can claim 5G all you want. Nobody cares. You don't have the Steam library backing you. Steam validates and certifies games in their library will work with the Steam Deck. I mean, you see that all the time. Will work with Steam Deck. You're like, cool, I know if I buy this, it's going to work on there. These games here, stream my Xbox to it. Who cares? I bought a Steam streaming deck a long time ago. It's still in the box. I've never played it because it's a gimmick, and I got it. It was not what I thought it was, because when I got it back in the day when I was younger, I was not I didn't read a lot of crap. I'm like, cool, I can stream games to this Steam Deck through the internet. No, it was streaming from my computer while they're playing onto this thing, you know, this streaming, the Steam console thing. I don't want to stream my console to a mobile device. I'm going to play my console on my TV. And I don't need it. I don't need joysticks on my phone because I don't play those kind of games. Just like, I don't think you guys do neither. Nick, for sure. Nick, I at least play a mobile game here and there, and so does Shane. Nick's like, no. Nick's like, when we played Diablo Immortal on that thing, I thought Nick was going to burst into flames.
I played it mainly on the PC.
A mobile-based game, and he was complaining the whole time about it, kept saying click here or push here on the screen. He's like, but he would rather play it on the PC. So,
and sadly, it played better on the damn phone, I thought.
I thought so too. But
yeah, I tried it on the phone, and it did play better on the phone. But if I was going to play it long term, which I wouldn't, because we reviewed the game, you can check out our review on it. But even if I played it long term, it would be on the PC.
So yeah, so I mean, it's a judgment call for everybody. I don't need a phone that's designed around gaming, in my opinion. I don't need a phone. I need a phone to do what I need it to do, which is entertain me when I'm on the toilet, or texting and messaging my friends, or mindlessly scrolling through content, which is the worst thing imaginable. But it's not for gaming. That's not the primary reason for this thing. And here's the thing. What's the cost of that going to be, right? Because the cost of this is freaking expensive. This is more than 2 times the cost of what I paid for a console. The only reason it never seems that way is because it's invisible payment plans, right? You pay this for 2 years, which seems like an insurmountable amount of money, but that's over the course of 2 years. If I could buy my console like that, which Xbox did something like that, you can buy a console, then it cool. You could do that. It works. But I don't see that phone being worth it, because it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be a $1,200 phone that can play games, and that's its primary function outside of being a phone, right? So they've got to steal away components from something else, right? Phones are already really powerful and stuff like that, but you know, they've also got built-in cameras. They've got like really high-end quality screens and all this stuff. But phones get more expensive and last shorter and shorter lifespans. So why do I want to make my gaming console that? Do you guys have any final thoughts on this before we force Nick to play some more mobile games?
I don't need another device to dookie with.
I'm dookied out.
All right. Well, let us know. You know, we've asked this question before, but maybe some of those people that are new and they're listening, do you play a lot of mobile games? What are your Would you buy a phone built around mobile gaming, whether it's streaming from consoles, cloud gaming, or downloading games onto? Would you buy a phone that its center focal point is gaming? Like a lot of phones nowadays are centered around photography and videography and photography and stuff like that. Would you buy a phone like that? Would you spend more than the average phone for that? So these, $1,000, $1,200 phones, would you spend more than that for a handheld gaming console that is also a phone? Let us know down in the comments. Are you interested in this? Are you interested in buying something made by Razer and supported by Razer for this? First of all, and you've made it to the end of this video. If you're not subscribed, why not? Go on, help us out. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit that bell for notifications so when we get new videos come out. And we do multiple videos every week. We do game reviews, we do news like this. So make sure you help us out. And we hope you enjoyed this episode and hope to catch you in the next one.
See ya.